This is my self-appointed office down here on the right.
She said self-appointed.
Yeah, well, we're the first ones to come here, so we claimed what we want.
Director.
I
I'm
don't
the
blame you at
director.
all.
Has Kane looked at the evidence that we found today?
Yes, I believe so. We just had a quick conversation.
How much do you love us now, Kane?
It's more like how much am I glad my job is not your job?
Oh, I love my job.
Oh no,
True.
I definitely appreciate every fucking bit of work you guys do.
We saw
It's
that. We
kinda
were so
ridiculous.
fucking excited when we saw that goddamn evidence.
Oh, exactly.
Kelly was literally moaning in pleasure.
This is tough for me to say.
What the fuck?
That
I'm not gonna
might,
ask what.
that might be too much information, John.
No, no, no,
I'm
not
not
sexually.
gonna ask
Thank
what
you.
the
Straight
evidence
shoot
is.
up.
We're not
What
gonna
is
ask
even
what the
for the
evidence you
fall in my
find
heart
is,
is
but yeah.
Phone records.
Oh, interesting.
All right, so really quick, so obviously I know who the officers and Miss Rose are, but just really quick for sakes, I'm Assistant District Attorney Keaton Kane, and who else do we have today?
I am his defense attorney. My name is Selena Dawson.
Miss Dawson, and you are Mr. Joshua Bandz, I presume?
Correct.
All right.
Should we, as a formality, advise Mr. Bandz of his rights?
Yeah, I'll
I'm
let
gonna
you
do
the
that
honors,
for a
Captain.
formality, sir. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you should say or do can anyone be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. Have that attorney present during any and all questioning. You have one here, but if you did not, one would be appointed for you if it was available. Should you have requested one, you also have the right to stop questioning at any point in time, and you can request a lawyer at any point in time. That's not necessarily because you have one. And so we will be recording this. It's not going to be public knowledge, but we will be recording this conversation.
Understood.
Okay. So it's come to my attention, Mr. Bandz, that you are willing to have this conversation to discuss a deal of sorts in the current undergoings that are going on. Believe me, you're aware of what's happened so far, and you have potentially further information that could be provided about this case or could be represented. My office is willing to entertain a deal hinging upon your level of cooperation and the level of information you are willing to provide.
Okay.
Why don't we have him start from the beginning? Are you willing to do that?
It was mostly written down in the statement, but I can go over exactly the same thing if you'd like me to.
I would.
Just,
Your
just for our
initial
official
statement
record,
was
everything.
anonymous. I need it officially, on the record.
Okay, so how far in the beginning do you want to go?
Let's go ahead and start with explaining your relationship with Miss Salem and when she first reached out to you about what transpired.
Relationship is mother-in-law. I am currently married to her daughter, which maiden name is Danny Morris. First spoke to Skylar roughly around about a week or so ago about this happening. Sorry, fuck's sake, leave me alone. Currently about a week ago, we had a conversation, and she wanted somebody to carry out a quote-unquote hit on Miss Murdoch. At the time, I didn't really want to myself, and I told her no, and then it happened the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and it was pushed onto myself, and kept making it sound nicer for myself. And after a lot of just pushing, I agreed to the terms that she had set at the time, and went and carried out the say
And
mission, but not mission, I guess.
what were the terms?
Terms were written in the statement, as in what she wanted me to say to her, what she wanted me to do. She wanted me to say to her to leave the DOJ. She wanted me to make that very fucking clear. Her words exactly. The stuff that she wanted doing was she wanted me to puncture her with a knife wound, not enough to quote unquote kill Miss Murdoch, but enough so it would cause injury, as well as shaving Rose's head.
And what were you going to get in return?
Well, you guys already know that. Anyway, but I can confirm that it was a motor vehicle worth
And that
roughly
was
around about
the
400,000.
pariah that's now registered to you.
That is correct.
Okay, go ahead and keep going on this.
Um,
So that's everything. Go ahead, Kat.
After you carried out the contract, according to Miss Salim's, I guess, requirements, as in puncturing her, shaving her head, making her leave the DOJ, she woke up in the hospital soaked with water. Can you explain why that would have happened?
Because I decided to place her within the water.
Miss Salem didn't want you to put her in the water. You decided to do that part?
I decided to do that part, yes.
Any reason you decided to do that part?
Personal reason was because I didn't want to leave Rose in the middle of where it happened. So I thought the best thing to do for myself was to put her in the water.
And would you tell us where exactly it did happen?
No comment.
And was it only you that was there for this? We've been led to believe there were other individuals involved.
No comment.
Do you remember how many times you punctured Miss Rose?
Once.
Once. Okay.
If I remember rightly, it was on the left-hand side between the third and fourth ribcage.
Going back to Miss Salem for a moment, did she ever tell you to cover your trash, anything like that, delete messages?
Yeah.
And did you do so?
Yeah.
Um, did she say anything as to why she wanted this done?
To quote unquote teach Rose a lesson and put her back in her place.
Do you know what
Did-
that lesson was?
Apparently, Rose has been a bit of a big mouth, from what I've been told. That's all I can really tell you. It's all I've been told. That was her reasoning behind it. I know that she doesn't like Rose spending as much time as she does with Roy. Everybody knows that Skylar's a little bit protective of Roy. Would you say that? But obviously, well, you've got the information from the text messages anyway to show that that could be a different story.
Oh, I would say more than a little bit protective.
Um, did she ever request that you do anything else to Miss Murdoch?
She requested that I can't remember the exact wording she used at the time, but if she needs a reminder, would I be happy enough to do it?
And then what did you tell her in response?
I can't remember. If I can, I'd tell you, but obviously, as I said, I do no longer have the capability to even look.
Okay.
And that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Last night, there were some people around a residence that Rose was near. Do you know anything about that?
I was asleep last night for the entire night.
Okay.
Did Miss Salem ever assist you, giving you information about Miss Murdoch, where she might be, what she might look like, who she'd be with, or give you any ideas of things, other things you could do to her, or perhaps other people?
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on what this
It
information
was going to
was?
be my follow-up.
Yeah, I can do. As I know, you obviously you already know as well, that she had asked me to either kidnap Miss Brittany, to hold her for ransom for Miss Murdoch. Um, there was either, I think it was blow up her car, and I think there was something else, but as I say, I can't recall the rest.
Has she ever asked you to do anything like this to teach other people a lesson?
She talks a lot of shit. Um, Sorry for the profanity, but she does.
You're fine.
And I've never taken any of that pretty seriously. But this one was definitely more of a serious matter to her, from what I could tell. So I can't answer that with pure honesty at the time.
Let me ask you this question. What was her, because I do know that you had several phone calls uh, with Miss Salem Mercer, even on the day in question, the day that Miss Murdoch was kidnapped and stabbed and left in the water. What was her demeanor when you were on the phone, and what were those conversations about?
Not all conversations was about that. Conversations about other things in general. We talk normally as is anyway, with her obviously being my mother-in-law. Um, I think one may have been a phone call to say that it is finished. But other than that, the rest was nothing to do with Miss Murdoch.
Now, was it just Miss Salim who was contacting you about this? Was anyone else privy to this that you
No.
know of?
Just her. But always, I like to share with the room as well that I know my attorney has a couple of things that she'd like to go over that has been passed through from the medical records from recent events, that apparently needs to be shared while in this meeting. So I'll let her take over from here for a little bit.
If I could ask one more question, sir, though, just real quick, we know that the pariah was exchanged to you as payment for this. We have evidence of that. Um, Let me see if I can find it specifically. $100K car for him and $300K for you. Who is him?
No comment.
No comment. Okay.
Really quick before we move on to the rest, could I get myself, detectives, Miss Dawson, and Miss Rose to leave the room real quick? I want to have a conversation with the detectives and Miss Dawson really quick.
Okay.
Be right back, sir.
Rose, I'll just have you stay out here. This is. Alright, I know you got some information for us, Miss Dawson, but I'm gonna be blunt on this. The whole part of the deal that he's gonna be facing here is upon his cooperation. He's cooperating to a degree right now.
We already have all of the information that he's giving us. It is solid information. It is confirmed from the phone company, her text messages.
Yeah, I'm going to be obscenely blunt to a degree that I'm not normally. The only way he doesn't leave here with full charges is if he gives us something new that we do not already know of, and his full cooperation and testimony in court.
Which is also something I wanted to discuss as far as
And by full
as far as
cooperation, I do mean the other co-conspirators in this as well. That is something that I understand he may fear retaliation from, but he needs to at least give us a lead on this for me to consider the amount of immunity that he's going to be asking for with the severity of these charges.
right. So what I wanted to go over was the fact that he wouldn't be getting, or it doesn't seem like, as far as like the charges go, attempted murder would fit. More
No,
like,
it would. It absolutely would.
Yeah,
He stabbed a woman and threw her in the ocean. That is beyond reproach the exact definition of attempted murder. You don't throw an unconscious, bleeding individual in the ocean if you don't mean for them to die.
I mean, I was thinking more like, some agbat or something.
That's if he's cooperating. Do we give him any sort of deal?
I do know he does not want to testify, and he as if we can get a deal, he would be willing to take certain charges.
I can see about a sealed testimony where it is just himself, his representation, and a judge possibly present. But the fact of the matter is, his testimony is key evidence.
It is possible if we get a name, we can get phone records from the other individual, and that would be sufficient evidence depending on what was in there. And he might not have to testify.
Okay.
The bottom line is, at this point, with what he's stating right now, he's saying he was the sole individual responsible for her torture, kidnapping, and attempted murder. If he's unwilling to provide anything greater, that's evidence that we don't have already that proves this fact that he was the sole conspirator, he will most likely be facing those exact charges, and it's kidnapping of a government official on top of just kidnapping, as well as conspiracy and, to a degree, even obstruction, since he has admitted to destroying evidence. I just want to
Okay.
make sure you're on the same page as we are looking at what he's telling us.
Right.
He right now is between a rock and a hard place. I'm willing to offer some sort of deal, potentially lesser charges, potentially immunity to a degree, but he needs to understand he needs to give us a little bit more than just things he believes we're already aware of.
I mean,
And
a deal
I
should be
commend
in place
I
regardless.
commend him. I commend him for coming forward, but
Right. But I mean, you wouldn't even know anything about anything if it were for him coming forward.
it's possible. But here's the thing: he came forward to Miss Murdoch to kick off the investigation. He didn't come forth to the police department or to our office. He came forward to the individual who he felt guilty about doing these things to. And yes, that kicked off the investigation. I can commend him for feeling regret or remorse. However, that does not absolve him of the deeds he's done. And the fact of the matter is, a deal for charges of this magnitude, I have to consider the standard that's going to set.
To be honest, and I'm not trying to speak for the 88 here, but I would believe that the whole reason we're even considering giving him anything is because he did kick this off. Like, that is that's the reason he's here now and not already in Bolingbrook.
I'm trying to give your client every benefit of the doubt that he does truly feel remorse and regret and is trying to make up for those actions. but there's a large part of me that has to think professionally. In the statute of my office, I cannot just go around offering up immunity or lesser charges to someone who's committed such an act without very good reason to do so. And while his remorse does sway me to offer some sort of lesser charge potentially on a level of attempted murder that I'm not swayed from yet, I'll be blunt.
Okay. We also need to keep in mind as well that he was in a very bad car accident. So his memory is like stuck back in like January.
Well, still seems to remember enough stuff about this.
Well, this is just, in recent. So anything that's really happened in the past few months, prior, he doesn't really remember anything.
When was his car accident?
Uh, I don't know the exact date. I know there's a medical record. You can get that from Denny or
Like how long ago?
I'll be blunt.
it's been like within the past.
Yeah, I'll be blunt with you. You just told me to get his medical records from his wife.
Well,
Also,
I mean, whoever else is like,
They're
don't know
not going to
anyone
give
from
us his
EMS.
medical records without
Yeah.
his consent.
and also, I mean, he clearly remembers about this crime, and that's all we're really caring about. I don't care what he ate for lunch a month ago. We want the co-conspirator in this. We know there's at least one based off of the text messages that we recovered. And we want him to testify about this case, which he clearly remembers. He's saying no comment, not I don't remember.
Right. Like I said, I mean, this just happened the other day.
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to get at, is if his accident doesn't prevent him
No,
from
dog,
remembering
trust my
these
wife.
things. I mean, while we sympathize with him for a bad accident, we've all had them. If he can remember and
I'm
recall
just
these
saying
things,
he's not in
yeah.
his right mind. This isn't something.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to agree with John. He's not saying I don't remember. He's saying no comment.
Correct.
The other thing is, if he in fact has had some sort of memory problem, he's not going to be a very good witness in a court of law. He's going to be quickly discredited. And then he's of no use to us in that way.
Either way, I believe the bottom line of what we're trying to get at is we're advising you in your client's best interest. We'll give you a moment to talk with him, but I feel as though he needs to give us something that we do not already know, or that he believes we do not already know, for this to really feel as something that we
I'll be
can
honest, we
seriously
could have
consider
gotten
a
the
deal of the
search
magnitude
warrant
I'm already
request
considering.
based upon the photo.
I have a deal drawn up that is a potential, but at this point, he's yet to give us anything that warrants that deal. He's given us information, as he already said, that he believes we already know or we already have access to.
And what is the deal?
So, there's multiple levels of this deal. The best case scenario for him is his absolute and full cooperation agreement to testify on stand, give up any and all co-conspirators, their names, their contact information, the actions they took upon that day, testify for them as well. And if he goes along with full cooperation, we'd be willing to offer him protective custody as well as full immunity as a protected witness. That is full immunity from all charges, so long as he agrees to testify on all behalfs of any and all co-conspirators. He would agree to surrender the pariah that was used upon payment for this act, as it was gained through illicit and illegal activities. He'll surrender that to the state, or he'll sell it off and give the money back to the state to pay for the court costs and damages to the individuals involved. That is his best case deal. If he's only willing to testify or give information on Miss Salem. I have charges I'm
Shooting an
willing to
unarmed man.
consider. I need to finalize those in my
So
deal
true.
and discuss them with the detectives and see if they agree with them or not. But that is not going to get him out of prison time. That he will still be facing time for that, or potentially a criminal case himself on that.
Okay. Well, let me speak with him for a little bit. And...
Yeah, we'll be just out here in the hallway. We'll give you guys a minute. I just want to make sure you're aware of that.
I left because I noticed Rose was in there alone with him, and I didn't feel like that would be good
Yeah, I sort of.
for her to get out in the hallway.
Yeah,
Because I don't. Yeah, I don't
I
want.
sort of
trying to get away.
understand. Yeah, I understand why she's here, but at the same time, I feel like maybe I should have told her to stay at home.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna do anything. I just don't want, like, later on Finch or somebody to go, oh, you left the suspect and the victim in the same room together alone. What the fuck is this police work? And
Yeah.
got them separated.
Yeah, no, he was not giving us shit that we don't already know, even
I mean, he was
according to
even
him.
telling us, you know this already.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play that bounce around game for the next hour. He's gonna give us something, or he's gonna leave here and go straight to Bolingbroke prison. That is my exact belief, and God, I feel sorry for that
Thank you,
lawyer. but
Mr.
you telling me I need to
Avakian,
go to
for
his
telling
wife
me.
for his medical records. Yeah, nope, that ain't happening.
No, I'm
Unless
not
you want his
interested.
wife to face conspiracy or obstruction charges as well.
I mean, that was an excellent point. He's not saying I don't remember. He said no comment.
Thank you.
Exactly.
And those terms sound good to me.
Well,
That's literally the only thing that he needs to give us is the name of. Excuse me, the co-conspirator.
No, you're good.
We know they
that
exist.
is-
There's text messages. The Coquette Blackfin, $100,000 car for him and $300,000 for you.
Mm-hmm.
She was still being pursued whilst Miss Salem was in custody.
He's getting. I mean, that is one hell of a deal. Full immunity for attempted murder of the fucking district attorney of the state.
Oh yeah, but like I said, that's
You'd
for
be
him.
stupid not to take that.
That's for him to turn and testify on every single individual involved. That's the only way that full immunity comes to the table.
Oh yeah. And the thing is too, like, she's talking about he has no memory. Like, he recalled just fine, and he pointed out details we did not tell him that we already got from text messages. So he can remember that perfectly fine. He even remembered he couldn't remember the word, but he remembered the about doing it again to a reminder. You know.
Here's my question, though. And this is where I'm concerned if Miss Salem can be charged with the attempted murder now, since he stated, oh, she just wanted me to stab her. It's my idea to throw her in the ocean.
Could I be let out? I've got to go meet with one of my lawyers real quick for an urgent matter.
Yeah, sure. I'll let you out.
Awesome.
Well, either way, she hired him to do a job, and I mean, he flat said it. He stabbed her left side between the third and fourth rib. You go 3 to 4 inches. That's the heart. I'm no medical professional, but my heart's on the left side of my body, right around that area. Pretty sure if that's where he was instructed to stab her, that's kind of proof of attempted murder there. You stab that damn close to the heart and everything that's around it.
I don't think we actually have a torture charge.
I don't think we do either, honestly. I maybe need to bring that up in the next meeting I have with the judges about charges for something like that.
But I would say kidnapping somebody, stabbing them, and shaving their head would, What you're asking, what is the penalty? Probably an extended stay in prison.
So one of the reasons I feel like she could still be charged is she set this in motion,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
his actions are an extension of now hers.
Okay, he is ready to if you
To talk
have any
again.
more questions,
Yeah.
but he does not want to give up the other individual involved.
Well, the problem with that is we already know everything and have all of the evidence that we need that he is stating. We already have all that.
Right.
And there are still people out chasing her down. There are still people trying to collect on this contract. And
Yeah,
they
we
need
know
to
that
be
the-
stopped.
Yeah, we know that that money or that car has not been transferred, which means it hasn't been paid, which means that co-conspirator very well could be still going out there trying to finish the job so he gets.
They're
that
not going to
payment,
sentence her to
and
death
that's
for an
why we
attempted
want
murder
that,
charge.
information and why I mean full immunity for
I know, me
attempting
too.
to kill the fucking district attorney is a crazy good deal.
I don't. To be honest, I don't even know who the person is. Like he won't even tell me. So
All right. Well, we may ask him about that one or two more times. Try and get him to understand our side of things. But
yeah.
at the end of the day, he's got to meet us somewhere for some sort of deal on something that maybe we don't know about.
Okay. Well, we can go back in there and talk to him.
All right. Probably better.
It's got to be on one of these phone calls. Yeah, but they're not even going to consider it for an attempted murder charge.
Let me go ahead and turn the recorder back on. Beep. I like to make sound effects when I turn on recorders. It doesn't. Yeah, sorry.
God damn, I look
Well,
good
I'm glad we
today.
got that on recording, John.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Bandz. So we did discuss with your lawyer, and I believe she probably will have told you everything that we discussed. Look, at the end of the day, you kind of said it yourself. You're giving us information you believe we already know. Do you have anything to offer that you believe we do not know about, or are you willing to agree to at least testify in this case to back up your statements on recording and on record?
I have stated while I'm recording today that I am giving you information that you already know because of myself, the person that had already given you this information. So you're asking for more information about something that you knew nothing about. Not a location, not even a weapon. You literally had no idea about anything at all. There was nothing there except for what I had told you. You didn't know it was Skylar. You had no idea it was her. You could have had assumptions. There's no proof. So you couldn't do anything with it anyway, even if you thought it was her. And then you had no idea who it was that had, even what had happened to Rose. So there was no case to begin with. I have given you a case, and the stuff that you're giving me is, unfortunately, it's just spitting in my face and going "fuck you." That's what your deal is here for me.
Full immunity for the attempted murder of a high-ranking government official is spitting in your face.
Well, for what you want, yeah. For the thing I'm gonna say, you know
Just
what?
want
I'm just not
aim.
gonna give that one thing up for you.
What I want is for people to stop hunting her down. There's still a contract out there. It's very evident. The car hasn't been transferred. The Blackfin Coquette, still in her name, has not been transferred. It's a $100,000 car. It's the one that she was speaking of. That will be given to him.
She
Him
even
is
while
still
in
hunting her
custody,
down.
yeah, she even while in custody flat out stated there are still
You just
people
said that he
hunting
is
her.
still hunting her down. Is that what you just said? Is there
Yes.
any proof of that is that individual? Because
I don't know
can
who
tell
the
you
individual
that it's
is.
not. So you're looking for the wrong person because you don't even know who it is. So you're not even looking technically for a person.
Well, that's what I
And
want to
two,
know, who it is.
Okay, I understand that you want to know. Unfortunately, you're not going to know.
So on the record, just for our sakes, you are unwilling to give up any co-conspirator or tours that may be involved in this.
Correct.
All Are you willing to offer up your testimony in court against Miss Salim?
No, I
For the
understand
deal
what
that
he's
I have been
saying.
given? No.
Are you willing to offer any information whatsoever that you believe we are unaware of at this time from your previous coming forward out of remorse or guilt?
I'm giving you all the information.
Is that all the information that you already have provided, or all the information that you are willing to provide or that could be provided?
I've given you all the information that I will provide to you. The only ones that I won't is accomplices, like I have stated. Stated that prior to this, and I'm stating it during this.
But you are stating that there were accomplices by not being willing to give them up.
I'm stating that there was one accomplice, yes. Who I can put to shore to all of your minds that is not the person that is going after Rose now. I have no idea to do with that. If I had information on it, I could tell you, but I don't. But I can tell you for sure that it's not that individual.
Have you spoken to the co-conspirator anytime recently so you can be absolutely sure it is not that individual?
Yes. And in person before you ask. Because it was me who it came to, so he has no realization to be doing it.
Can you speak on the potential threats that were alleged or possibly going after Miss King? Do you know if there's any plans to still do that?
That was a suggestion at the time to get Rose to go to Miss King. If there's anything to follow it, I don't know. If there's something to do with Brittany as a personal reason, I don't know. That was simply, to me, to kidnap Brittany because I could hold her for ransom. That's what that was stated for,
Oh, sorry.
to my knowledge.
It's my cup of water. I drank it all though.
You do realize that testifying in court, you won't have to give up the co-conspirator. You would be testifying for the information that we have gone over today.
Yeah, I know. And I still don't want to testify in court, which I had stated, what, a day or two ago?
Is there any particular reason you don't wish to testify?
Yeah, personal reasons.
Are you afraid of retaliation?
No. Personal reasons that will be disclosed, not disclosed.
I don't have any questions. He's clearly not going to answer.
So I'm going to be frank, Mr. Bandz. Just the mere fact of the evidence that you'd already sent to Miss Murdoch out of guilt or remorse, and the fact that it was used to place the warrants and then the arrest of Miss Salim, I can almost assure you she appears to be smart enough to already have probably put two and two together that it was you that provided the information if you were the only one she provided this information to at this time.
I understand.
Well, I look good.
Is it selfie time, Mr. Bandz?
It was for Callie, so it's the selfie time for me too.
Of course.
Nothing wrong with a good selfie.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes, I did, John. Mr. Kane, that is a fine suit you are wearing today. Always looking professional.
One has to attempt to do so at
What's up with the
times.
deal? Look at this theme. We got red and dark.
And
We're all,
cowboys.
we're all like
Honestly,
dressed
I'll be
alike.
blunt. It just feels goddamn comfortable, honestly. Once you get used to something, you get used to it.
Roy, Jerry, you, all cowboys.
I know it's really the cowboy hats for me.
I'm gonna start rocking a cowboy hat. I guess it'd be a cowgirl hat.
Oh no.
Kelly, I don't know if you could pull it off.
Do not challenge me, ma'am.
Oh yeah, don't tell her that.
That's why I said it, because I knew
Oh.
she'd do it.
Mr. Bandz, you also look quite dapper in your
Oh,
suit.
wow,
What is that
thank you.
jacket made out of? It's very shiny. It's got a sheen to it.
It is. It is. I don't really know. I'm
Is
not
it
really
like
a tailor, so
leather
I'm
or
not
is it
really
like
fancy.
sateen? Sateen's
It's more
kind
of
of
a
cheap,
sateen.
but it
Yeah,
still looks
well.
good.
That's the difference. It'll look nice, and it was cheap. That means it's the best one.
I think I can smell your cologne from here. It's delightful.
Oh, thank you.
So in your original statement that you sent to Miss Murdoch, you state that you followed her for 2 days to find out where she works, who she's close to, and etc. Um, was anybody else made aware of these locations?
No,
And what locations did you find that she frequented or potentially lived at or stayed near?
no comment.
I have a question. It might be
I have a
unrelated.
feeling.
In 2 seconds, I need to pull this up.
You're all good.
I got 15 minutes. A couple of weeks ago, there were some pictures, some actual photographs that were taken of Miss Murdoch, Miss Salem sitting in chairs in front of PDM. And there's another one of Miss Murdoch, I believe, pretending to finger point a weapon at Miss King. And then there's a vehicle photo. Do you know anything about those pictures?
No. Pure honesty, no. The only picture I know about this of Primrose is the one that was sent to me by Skylar of her and Roy next to each other.
Oh, she lied to me. She said she only ever sent that to Roy. She sent that to him first.
That sounds about right.
Also, in your original statement, you stated you somehow were able to cut the power and surveillance systems to PDM when you snatched up Miss Murdoch. Could you provide us any information on how you did that or where you gained the supplies to do so?
There's a fuse box at the back of the building. It's not hard to pry one of them open.
That other name has to be in here somewhere. I don't know, Mr. Kane. I'm gonna leave it up to you.
What do you think? Just a quick question. You said Salem was pestering you for days to do this. Why do you think she picked you?
Don't know, to be honest. Not a lot of people like her. But to be honest, who can blame? To be fair, the reason why I came forward, which I don't know if I have stated this to Rose beforehand, was for the sheer factor of what she had said about Roy. when it came to the beginning, I thought it was a bit twisted as fuck as it was anyway. And then when it came to do with Roy, which is her fucking husband, that's when it became to me that now she's just a little bit on the more mental side. Maybe bipolar, I don't know.
And for the record, what did she say about Roy?
It was in a text message that you have.
Right, I was just saying for the record.
If I remember rightly, it was to teach it. Do you want to know somebody that could teach him a lesson, or if I could? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
John, your hands are disproportionately small for the rest of your body.
That's not true.
Well, that'll be on the record now.
Yeah, that's always a lovely one to have on there.
That's all right if it's true that the thing they say about hands and something else isn't true.
Okay, well, we don't need to get into that for the record.
Oh, okay. I can't put it on the record, but she can put. Okay.
It's actually
Well,
feet. So
Say if you've got big feet, it
Oh, I
means
think it
you've
was
got
hands
big
too, isn't it?
socks.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't follow up on all those things.
Now I'm gonna be self-conscious about my fucking hands.
I mean, as long as they still fit in a bowling ball, you should be fine for the
It's
rest of the day.
true. It's true. Make sure
you
they
have to
fit in the
use
ball.
the kid bowling ball.
He's the same one as me, but I have women hands.
Me and Rose did have a
To be fair, you do have
thought
big
that
hands for a
behind that
woman.
painting you have a safe with your bowling shoes in it, Miss Price.
Oh. No, I'll keep those in my locker at work.
We had a feeling you'd be hiding them from everybody.
They are pretty great shoes. Mr. Kane, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'll be honest. I have many thoughts on this.
I don't want to punish him because I
It's-
want people to want to
I'll be
come
blunt,
forward.
Mr. Bandz. You're putting me in a hard position here. While I understand and appreciate your willingness to come forward, basically all you have given us is your admittance on the record that you took part in these events. You're backing up the statements you already provided.
And
Here's
end
the-
an entire case. But okay.
Well, that's
That
again.
remains-
You have to understand, Mr. Bandz. I have to look at this on the letter of the law as well, with the potential crimes that I'm looking at, and figure out what I can do within those. There's certain things that are, in all honesty, things that are already set in precedent that I have the ability to offer certain deals on, but I also have to consider the severity of them. And believe me when I say this, I am considering them. This is not something I'm walking into
Wait,
unwilling
which
to
point?
hear your side and make any sort of deal. But on the same vein, I have to look at this as
Oh, my dog is so cute.
the bottom line is a very heinous crime was committed, and it was basically committed under contract. So I have to consider the fact of, while yes, you are coming forward and providing information and assisting, you're doing so while attempting to set terms and while stating for a fact you're going to hold back certain things for your personal reasons. And I have to take that into consideration when I look at the deals I'm willing to offer and make. At this time, even though you have stated that you eventually followed her advice and deleted text message evidence, I'm not going to push obstruction on you.
Okay.
At this time, you've stated and backed up the facts that we already were aware of, that you did agree and in fact take payment in the form of a pariah for the kidnapping and torture, which ended up in the result of what I can only look at and construe with how it was done, the attempted murder of the district attorney, Primrose Murdoch. One does not simply throw a body into the water expecting it to be found. It's a pretty grave occurrence, sir. And the fact of where you've stated you stabbed her, I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but my heart's on the left side, right around in those areas where a knife could easily reach it. I'm not a medical professional, and I don't assume you are to know how far you could
Let's
stab
get a
in before
medical
potentially
professional
hitting
for the
something dangerous.
courtroom.
But there's a lot of dangerous things on there. It's a dangerous place to stab somebody, which I have to look at and consider how much wound harm that really could have done. We're lucky Miss Murdoch was pulled from the water by whoever did. And she got medical attention and she came out alive, even if she is traumatized beyond all belief. The bottom line is, I've heard what you've said. DA Murdoch has had several conversations with me about how she feels on it and how she really doesn't want to see you get hurt for this because she believes perhaps you were in a vulnerable state and Miss Slim took advantage of that. However, I'll be blunt with you, sir. Taking all that into consideration, the bottom line is this. My office still views these acts as heinous
It's on the left
and wrong.
side.
Regardless, you will be facing charges of criminal kidnapping of a government employee. You will be facing charges of conspiracy. And at this time, unless further information changes or is divulged, I cannot, in due conscience, advise officers not to go ahead and press the charge of attempted murder.
Damn.
I am holding back on other charges that I believe do apply. And I am doing my best to consider your position in this. What I am going to advise is that when these charges are placed, I will be advised you be placed in protective solitary custody inside of Bolingbroke Prison, so as not to face any repercussions in prison from Miss Salim if she believes that you turned on her.
Damn.
But at this time, I can't offer you the fullest level of immunity possible because to a degree, I can't guarantee without certain stances that you won't continue to be in contact with the other individuals, tip them off to hide evidence or anything of that sort. You've already stated you met in person with your co-conspirator and that they're out there still. And while I understand your position that they are not still hunting Miss Murdoch, they are still a threat that agreed to go along with this. And it's the firm position of my office that I cannot look the attempted murder of anyone in this state and without
for the case,
far greater cooperation than you're willing to provide, be willing to let that go as an immunity thing. So at this time, I would say under the advice of my office, we won't press some charges, but those 3 that I have listed, I'm advising officers to go ahead and press on you and place you into custody on today.
That hurts us though too as detectives. Like nobody.
You make a plea.
So far as my office is concerned, the offer of full immunity for agreeing to testify and provide all information will stand until Miss Slim faces her day in court. At any point, if you wish to take this offer, you can contact your attorney or our office, and we will try and facilitate that offer. But that offer is only good until her day in court is arranged.
I have the paperwork ready to go. Oh no, my car is gonna be.
So how long is he looking at?
With the charge of attempted murder, he will be held until trial. And it'll be a judge's discretion based upon the trial how long he'll face in Bolingbrook Penitentiary.
So I now have to wait out for her time and then still do my own time.
That is the definition of a held until trial charge, sir. You will be there until your trial
You
is done.
state that that's not my trial. You just stated that.
No, I said the deal for full immunity is on the table until her trial.
Okay, if I state that I'm not going to be giving any more information.
Well, then you will await your trial in Bolingbrook Penitentiary and then serve your sentence as the judge deems it.
Okay, so I have to wait for her trial, and then even if I still don't choose full immunity, I then have
No,
to
you wouldn't have to wait
again
for a
do
trial.
my-
If you're stating, sir, that you have no intention of providing any additional information, then the immunity deal is off the table. You could go to prison right now and wait for a trial.
So then I just get my own trial as well. Okay, so
Yes.
this trial
You would have your own trial unless you are called by the judge because you were in Bolingbrook Penitentiary or anything of that sort, or unless you agreed to testify. I can't speak for what'll be done in that regard, but you'll be in Bolingbrook Penitentiary until your trial at the very least.
Okay. The tsunami's about to come, and afterwards I'd like a moment with my attorney to talk things over privately, and then finish off the conversation with you guys.
Yeah, that'll be
We leave
afforded
from
to
our
you, and then officers will do their job.
Sounds good enough?
We'll just back up here, I guess, and we'll see if we can get a vehicle to provide transport for
I'll
everybody.
call for a marked unit or two. We'll need to.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
the party bus back up here.
Yeah,
Hey, you get
potentially
that party bus.
DOC's around. We can get them up here real quick.
Sure, Jim. Hey, thank you.
I would be willing if he would testify, even in private quarters. Well, they're both fucked. Based on the evidence, I think they are both fucked.